Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this video I have for you a preview of the 82nd Airborne Division. Let's jump on in. Please remember that this is an early access build and everything you see may be subject to change. So starting in the logistics tab, we have the M35 supply truck, which we've seen many times now. Currently has 800 supply in this build, and yeah, good for just backing up your troops and keeping them supplied with both ammo and, replenishing your men. And there's the UH-60A supply, which we have also seen. But there is now a Chinook, which is very cool. Comes with the 2,500 supply. Be interesting to see how quickly this lands. I always remember in Wargame Red Dragon, the benefit of this helicopter was it did actually land quite quickly generally. Then we have the first of the Humvee units in the 82nd. This is the Humvee CP, which is just the leader variant. 105 points, same as your standard Jeeps really. Then you have the M577 CPC, which has the armor. A little bit safer of an option, especially for back capping. And then there is the OH-58C command helicopter, which is interesting. Kind of a cheaper, lighter weight helicopter. This could be really nice for, moving your back caps around for whatever reason. Or maybe even quick capping early on. It's not terribly fast though. Let's move on to the infantry tab. So in the infantry tab we have the Airborne Military Police, which have 4 rifles and an M249. Since they are airborne, you can see that they can be forward deployed. That's what this parachute icon means. So any of the infantry units, even some vehicles, do have this parachute icon. That means they can be forward deployed at the start of the game. So in this case, a nice sort of cheap, small squad for you to spam forwards. But there is, of course, the Airborne Military Police M67. And I think this is actually pretty nice as a forward deploy unit. The M67 was picked very, very often when the game just came out, when there was only 2 divisions, because there wasn't really any forward deploy units. So yeah, these would be really, really strong. But since forward deploy units have come in, they've kind of taken over in the meta, particularly recon units in general. And since these can now forward deploy, I think we're going to see these recoilless used more often again. And there's the Airborne Leader. This is actually quite a big team. This is a 12-man leader squad with 12 M16s and an AT4. And the AT4 is pretty nice, decent accuracy, reasonable penetration. The penetration on the AT4 is good enough to kind of deal with half tracks quite nicely, and supporting units. Not half tracks, like armored cars is what I meant to say. I'm so used to Steel Division. And then there's the Airborne Fire Team with the AT4, which has 4 rifles, an M249 and the AT4. Then there's the Airborne Fire Team with the Dragon instead. And then there is the Airborne Squad with the Dragon 2, which has 8 M16s, 2 M249s, and that Dragon 2 there. And there's the Standard Airborne Squad, which comes with AT4 instead of the Dragon 2s, and also has 2 M60s, which do slightly more damage than the M249s. So this squad just a little bit more, a little bit better. Then there's the Airborne Engineer Leader. It's another 12-man leader squad for 140 points this time instead of 145. Has the 11 M16s and the M60 with the M72 Law. This M72 Law is not that great, but it is nice to have AT on your leader squad, because what you can do is you just turn off the other 2 weapons unless enemy infantry gets close, and then you can just use this to kill any recon vehicles that get too close to you. Then there's the Airborne Engineers, M16s, M60, so again the better machine gun, and then the Satchel Charge. The Satchel Charges at the moment, engineers in general, are kind of weird. They've kind of become meta in a sense where you almost need to have them, because if you don't have them and you go up against an enemy who does have them, and particularly in a close tree line engagement, you will lose, because what will happen is your opponent will select all of their units and just run at you. and as soon as they get close enough to use the satchel charges, well, you know, your squads get deleted. So yeah, that kind of sucks. Then there's the aero rifles. These can come in with the Chinooks and the Blackhawks. It's interesting that this is cheaper when technically it's stronger, I would say. Like, I think this pricing gives way too much benefit to these M240s. Like, these just really aren't that good. So this is actually a really nice helicopter to bring in. Then there's airborne gunners, which are the triple machine gun variant for the 82nd. They've got 3 M60s, help suppress enemy units much quicker, which will cause like enemy infantry to be stunned, basically. So yeah, that's what they're used for. Then there is the mechanized rifle leader with the 8 M16s and the M60 and M72 Law. And then we've got the standard mech rifles, which have the triple M249 with the M16 and the Dragon 2. And then there's the airborne TOW 2. Now, in terms of vehicles that you can bring these in, I did briefly look at the helicopters, but most of these can come in with Humvees. So the military police coming in with Humvees, which are, you know, reasonably fast, 108 kilometer per hour on road speed. These other airborne units, the leaders coming in the M35, these will come in Humvees. These will come in the M35s. But as you get down here to the mechanized rifles, we do have the M113A3 Dragon, which is the M113 with the Dragon on top of it, and then the standard M113 as well. And there you have it. Yeah, I like the Humvees. The Humvees are going to definitely make this a very mobile division, and with the forward deployment is going to definitely allow you to take quite a lot of ground early on. But I believe the idea of this division is to be able to take ground early and then try and basically hold on to it for the rest of the game. Like, that's like your win condition, is just getting as far up as you can early on, completely secure the sectors that you want to contest, and then, you know, basically play defense for the rest of the game. Now, moving into the artillery tab, we have the first of these sort of, I don't want to call them like self-propelled, but like these infantry manned mortars that aren't in vehicles. So it's cool to see these in the game. They're only 25 points. I'm not entirely sure if this is like a good thing to be in the game, because these are actually stronger in HE than the M125. I mean, obviously, you know, having mortar teams in the game is cool. That's not what I meant. What I do mean is that they are very cheap for what the power they can put out. And considering you probably just like fire away with these and then move them after firing, I don't know. I just think that these may be a bit strong at that price point. Their road speed and off-road... it's interesting they have a road speed. I didn't realize that. But yeah, maybe they're just not fast enough to get out of the way in time. We'll see. Anyway, the M125 mortar is there. 50mm mortar. Get 6 of these on a card. You actually get 8 of those 107mm mortars on a card. I can really see people just doing this, like just bringing in 3 cards of them like that and just spamming them. Then there's the M102 105mm. This has the same damage as the mortar, but has way more range. So you can see this has 17,670 meters range, whereas this one's 6,715. Then there's the M109A2, which we have seen before. Let's move on to the tank tab. So in the tank tab, we have the Sheridan, the Command Sheridan, which is pretty cool. Has the 14 penetration and the 16 AP on its missile there, the 50 cal. And then there is another one. What's the difference? One's just a command and one's not. There's no difference between them otherwise. The camo, I guess, is one thing. Then we have the AB M1025 Humvee TOW. This has a TOW 2 system on it, which is very, very good. Like, the TOW 2 is really, really good. I'm just concerned that they're just going to get popped quite easily. However, they do have good stealth, so maybe they can stay hidden when they fire these, which, if they can, like if they can at least get off one missile before they get revealed, then they'll be really good. If they can't, then they'll be pretty mediocre, or even just really bad. You do get a card of M1 IP Abrams. Good for this division. You get 2 cards of them. With the 17 penetration on the main gun, 2,120 meter range. They're not quite as high tier as like the M1A1 or the M1A1HA, but still a pretty decent main battle tank. Then we have the recon variants of the Humvees. We've got the Humvee with the machine gun, just the 50 cal, 40 points with the good optics, or very good optics, sorry. And then there's the Humvee with the grenade launcher, which has very good optics as well. There's the airborne scouts. These are just 5-man squads, or 4-man squads, sorry, with an AT4. Cam forward deploy. You got the LRS, which have the 4 M4 carbines and the 2 M49s with the M72 Law. Then there's the OH-58 Scout, which we've seen before, and the M3A1 Bradley CFV with its TOW-2 missile system, and the Kiowas are also available in the 82nd Airborne. Moving on to the AA, we have the Stingers, which have been nerfed quite a bit. They are no longer as good as they once were, which is nice. I think it's a good change. Stingers were way too reliable compared to other manpads, so it's good to have them brought down a notch. But there you go. Your little Stinger squads can come in with the Humvees. There is also a Vulcan 20mm that you can bring in, the Vulcan minigun system on the ground. Like this is really cool. Like I like these a lot. Not necessarily the weapon system. I think the Vulcan's still going to be shit in the game, but in terms of like having like a towed Vulcan weapon system like this is really cool. Then there's the Avenger, the M998 Avenger, which does have those Stinger missiles, got 50% accuracy on the move as well. Its stability is actually really nice, so you can just drive this forwards and it will take care of anything that flies over. It also has a machine gun as well. Then there's the OH-58CS, which is the air-to-air OH-58, and the AH-1F ATAS, which is an air-to-air Cobra with the Stingers, the 50% accurate Stingers. So that's pretty cool. 120 points, a little bit more expensive than the OH-58, but probably worth it, honestly, for the extra health that you get. Then we have the helicopter tab. We get the introduction of the AH-6C Little Bird, which comes with 2 miniguns and 14 Hydra missiles. Unfortunately, the miniguns aren't terribly powerful. I haven't tried it on this particular helicopter. Maybe like 2 is better than I'm used to. But having seen the Kiowa Recon, the Scout in action with its 1 minigun, this thing is like tickling the enemy all the time. So hopefully this is better. Then there's a Heavy Hog. This is a Cobra mounted with the Zuni rocket pods, which has 8 rockets on either side, which are 127mm rockets. I'm really curious to see how effective these can be. Honestly, against infantry, they might just delete them. That would be really kind of awesome. For that price, could be really good value. H1F Cobra with its Hydra 70 missiles, or rockets, sorry. Just the standard rocket pod variant. Then there's the TOW Cobra, which has a few rockets, but then the ITOs. And then we have the Apache with the rocket pods, again the Hydra 70s. There is the Apache with the Hellfire and Hydras, and the Apache with just Hellfires. Moving on to the air tab. F111F with the 8 cluster bombs. Your standard cluster F111. Then you have the F111 Napalm. This only has like 4 napalm bombs, but for 185 points, it's actually not too bad because it's quite fast. It's got 1,089 km/h speed with 30% ECM. So you're able to kill infantry quite well with napalm. Napalm is super strong against infantry, of course, and it does actually do a decent amount of damage against vehicles if they sit inside it. We have the F-16s. So the F-16C AT, which has the air-to-ground missile Mavericks. 4 of those at the 26 penetration and 40% accuracy. Got the F-16 with the Seed missiles, the HARM, with 20 penetration with the 65% accuracy. A much more reliable Seed aircraft this is with the accuracy there. Then there's the F-16 Napalm. Unfortunately, this is just a bit lackluster for its points. Like, it's got the same ECM and speed stats, more or less, as the F-111F, but has less payload, so unless you're trying to use this as a multi-role fighter, it's not going to end well, and generally that's not going to end well anyway, so I wouldn't recommend it. There is the F-16 with the 6 227 kilogram bombs as well, but again, as multi-role fighters, I'm not convinced that these are a good idea, because I think they currently dive towards their target, which definitely gets them killed quite often, whereas the F-111F acts like a proper bomber and stays at distance. There is the F4E Phantom II AA, which does come with the Sparrows there and the AIM-9s. There's the A-10 with rockets, which is pretty cool. I think this thing could actually be pretty good, because it's already putting its 30mm Avenger on target, and then it's smashing them with rockets as well. Probably, delete squads pretty well with this thing, like infantry squads. And then finally, there's the Eagle, the F-15C Eagle, with those AMRAAMs, the 7,774 meter range and 50% ECM. So, yeah, pretty cool. And nice sort of livery on there, the Wolfhounds. Pretty cool. Yeah, like it a lot. So there you have it. That is all of the units available in this particular division. Today, I'm not going to be building a deck, but I'll probably make one privately. And if you want to check it out, I'll make sure to leave it in the description in the battle group codes. So if you want to just like paste that into your own game when the game comes out, then you'll be able to basically do that and see how it plays out. But I will bring basically a gameplay with this, and I'll show off my deck at the start of that. So look forward to that. But for now, just kind of having to keep these videos short because my voice is a little bit temperamental. But that's it for now. Yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.